So, really quickly, we want to go back and forth between these two kinds of things. What might be 2 to the power of 5? Okay, so the first thing we'll do is we will write it out in proper, this is a product, isn't it? Okay, so we'll write it out with all of the multiplication signs. This is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, okay? Not adding, we're multiplying, okay? So let's see if we can do this. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 again, times 2 again, times 2 again, 32. There you go. That's 2 to the power of 5. Okay. How about, what would this be? Let's do that. Negative 3, I should say. Negative 3 to the power of 4. Okay. Now, brackets, be careful. I'm gonna put them all the way through. Okay. So if there's a power of 4 there, I'm gonna multiply it by itself 4 times. Right? So minus 3 times minus 3 times minus 3 times minus 3. Okay. So let's have a look. The first two, right? Negative 3 times negative 3. That's 9. Multiply by negative 3 again. That'd be negative 27. Do it one more time. Now, 27 times 3, that's a big number. It's going to be positive 81. Can you see why it's positive, by the way? Okay. These two negatives, think back to our work with integers, right? These two negatives, they'll cancel with each other. And these two negatives will also cancel. Okay, so you end up with no negatives at the end.
So
Alright, yes. Say that again.
Say that again.
So, these two negatives cancelled.
Yes.
So they become positive.
Yes.
These two negatives cancel. So you become positive. And I've cancelled out all the negatives. There were 4 of them.
So now the end result's positive.
That's exactly right. So you can see
Is it always like
if you're... That's a great question. And by the way, can I just say... I'm so happy Rashad asked that question because that is the mathematical question, right? You look at examples, and the question of maths is always like, well, what pattern's going on here? Is there something we can generalize? Now, I can tell you in advance, right? Okay. For instance, if I were to put a 40 there, I don't know what negative 3 to the power of 40 is, but I can tell you with confidence that it's going to be something positive. Okay. Now the question is, how do I know? I don't know what the number is, but how do I know it's going to be positive? Yeah, Crystal.
Maybe because like every two negative becomes a positive, and
Okay.
like 40 is an even number.
Yeah, good. So let's have a think about that again because that's really important, right? Have a look at what happened up here, right? The way I was explaining it was, you look at these two, and those two negatives cancel. And then you look at these two, and those two negatives cancel. If you can pair up every negative together, they'll all eliminate each other, right? Well, 40 here, right? It's going to be some huge number, but I know that I can pair up all the negatives. How many pairs will there be? There'll be 20 pairs, right? 40 people. You tell them all to pair up, and there will be 20 pairs, right? 20 times 2. Again, you could say, if I made it 401, even though we don't know what the number is, I can know that its sign will be negative. Why? Yeah, Rashad. It's an odd number, right? So 400 of the negatives, they're all pair up, right? There'll be 200 pairs of negatives. And then there'll be that one loner guy, and it'll be like, no one wants to hang with me. Fine, I'll make everything negative, okay? So you can know in advance, even if I don't know what the number is. Okay, in fact, I'd bet that even your calculators don't know. I think that's going to be too big for your calculator. Okay. All right, now that was going from index form to what we call an expanded form. Obviously, you could go the other way. For instance, if I wrote this, how would you write that in index form? Yes, no. 7 to the power of 3. Fantastic. Okay. Now, you've probably seen before or said before, right? When you've got a power of 3, we have another name for that. We call it cubing, right? So you would read that as 7 cubed. Okay? And it's the same with the power being 2. If I said 5 times 5, you would rewrite that as 5 to the power of 2, but you'd say 5 squared, wouldn't you? Whoops, that should be an S there. Okay? Great. So there you go. Now you know how to change between forms. You know what it means. I'm just going to leave a couple of questions settling in your mind. You can ask me about them later if you want. I'm not going to address them up front. This is what it means when you got a number like 6 or 4 or 5, 401. Okay. Here are 3 questions for you. I don't want you to answer them. I just want you to think about them. Some might know the answers already. Just think. What might happen if, let's go with 4. What if I had a power of 0? What would that mean? Don't tell me. I just want you to think about it. Some of you might actually already know. What if the power wasn't a whole number? What if it was something like a half? Does that mean something? What if the power was, we've been learning about integers, haven't we? What if the power was negative? What would that mean? Right? Now, it's interesting because if I read this, 4 multiplied by itself 0 times, right? This is interesting. This is a bit confusing. You can work out with a bit of thought what all of these might equal to. And they're all numbers that you know, okay? But the question is, what do they equal and why? Have a think about it. If you're really curious, you can ask me later.